I like her. I like Benedetta because she's wearing ripped jeans and running shoes. I like her because she's informal. I like her because she's wearing a clip on her head. Or I like Mario because he's wearing an AC/DC t-shirt, and I love AC/DC.
And all this is done on a voluntary basis. Being a mentor is completely voluntary, or does it have a return?
Okay, a return?
In money.
It depends. It depends. It depends on the context. Okay, so in this case, it's voluntary. But for example, mentorship programs in companies.
Yes, they cost.
Well, no, you might be recognized because you spend, you take away some hours from your employment to mentor other colleagues, younger colleagues. So that has a value that is recognized.
Yes.
For example, at school, well, for example, in the case of this school, there are external mentors who are not professors, who are not teachers. Internal mentors, they do it voluntarily. External mentors, it's like an employment, okay? The kids, the mentees who do this, they are recognized as having pursued this mentoring program. So you have some sort of recognition. Again, it depends on the context, okay? But it's a valuable, unique learning experience that you perform. So even if you don't earn money out of it, you gain in experience, you gain in awareness, you gain in competence. And an active listener is very rare to find, I'm telling you.
And just here I open a bracket, commercial pause. So this is actually one of the objectives of the project, because in the national research we found out this need of training that is not provided by the government. There are no special organizations that provide it. If they provide it for a small amount of people. So here's where the project comes in. So when the platform is ready, you'll be able to send it to all your colleagues and say, hey, would you be interested? Maybe for those who will be mentors, just join in. It's free of charge. You can study whenever you feel like it. So you can just join and read through the materials, prepare yourself, and work independently on those fields. So this is why this project is dreaming of supporting all those people who need the training, but in their country it does not exist as option, or they cannot afford it, or whatever. So this is where we aim again. So we have a platform that will scale, that will be free of charge, open for registrations all the time, and we will let you know when it's ready, so that you can send it out to all people you consider that might enjoy it and need it as a preparation. Closing of the commercial gap.
Okay, so ability to solve problems, mediate and manage bottlenecks. Is this clear? So at a certain point you can find yourselves into, okay, what about what happens now? I don't have any more questions to ask. I don't know what to do. What is the ability? What do you think? Ability to solve problems, mediate and manage bottlenecks. What do you think this means? You know what a bottleneck is? So, this is a bottle. This is a bottleneck. Okay? So whenever you put too many things inside, it gets stuck. It's a bottleneck. And it's used in the working environment to define a moment when you have too many things on your plate and you just get stuck because the liquid doesn't come in or doesn't go out. So it blocks. Okay. So how do you think this could be managed? What does the ability entail? Creativity, yes. But for example, if I have a problem, if I have a block, it's like I don't know what to do. What do I do as mentor?
Change your perspective and see yourself
Okay. How do you do it?
Asking ourselves.
Ourselves or others? Let's ask for help, guys. We have a supervisor.
Call you immediately.
Yeah. I won't answer, I'll block you. Ask for help. When I trained Benedetta and her colleagues, I said, you guys are a community of practice. Help each other overcome difficulties. Because maybe, and we are a community of practice. Let's rely on each other. Because if Anastasia encounters a problem with her mentee and she doesn't know what to do, maybe Fabiola already managed the same situation in a very successful way and she can give the example. But if Anastasia doesn't ask, how does she know? We need to ask. We need to ask. Ask whatever, guys. My dad always say in Italian, chi chiede un chiedone, chi non chiede un frescone. So, whomever asks is a big asker. Who doesn't ask is a bum. Ask. In the Bible, chiedi, ask, and it will be given to you. Chiedi ti sarà dato. I mean, the Bible is there for a reason. It's all living teaching. It teaches you how to live, like all spiritual books, like the Quran. Same thing. Okay? So, how do you overcome bottlenecks? You choose inspiration from outside. You ask people. You read, you watch videos. You see how other people dealt with the same situation. Okay? You ask your mentee, hey, you know what, Danielle, we're stuck. What should I do? Tell me. How honest is that, Maria? Moment for me, it's an impasse. We all have our bottlenecks. We need to be fed, you know, when you have no ideas. Okay, Mr. Mentee, feed me. Feed me. That could be a solution. There's no one size fits all. It's a tailored approach for every single one of us. Okay, so how you overcome these bottlenecks?
And just to add up, because yesterday we were talking about how important language is. I'll use the example. So, solving a problem. If I'm the mentor and I ask, why are you stuck? The brain of my mentee, because the brain believes in everything that you hear, in every vision that they have. So if I ask my mentee, why are you stuck? I'm affirming that we are stuck. But if I ask, why would you feel stuck? Then in my mentee's brain, like in the process, there's something that moves, oh, maybe we are not stuck. Why? Because as soon as I stay in the sense of that I'm blocked, I cannot find a solution. Why? Because my focus is on the fact that I'm blocked. So you see, the ability of solving that problem is the ability to take both yourself and your mentee out of both the mental idea that you are stuck and the emotional feeling of being blocked. You see the difference? And if I ask a question, it would rather be like, why would you feel stuck? Because in this way I tell the person, no, you are not stuck, like in Spanish you have soy, estoy. So those are two different things. It's a setting. So believing that I am not stuck, I just feel that. So it's something that it's a feeling that I can, okay, let's go away feeling, go away from me. I'm not stuck. I feel stuck, but maybe it's something in my mind that is making me feel stuck. So this is how important language is, just to use the example.
And sorry.
No.
So I'm throwing another thought here. Many companies, when they post job descriptions, they say problem solver. What about switching to solution finder?
Yes.
Would you help that seeing the problem on a different level? It's not a problem, it's a solution finder. I help you find a solution. It implies there's a problem, of course. But it's not solving the problem, it's finding solutions. I like it so much. If I ever had to write a job description, I will include that. So, ability to assess needs. So this goes in the second part, the second stage of a mentoring relationship. Assess needs. Okay, so what does the mentee need? Where does he stand? There's a very interesting exercise. It's called the changing balloon, to set direction and to assess needs. And it's basically, imagine a flying balloon, Montgolfier, okay? The problem is that this balloon doesn't fly. It's stuck because there are weights that stuck the balloon on the floor. So with the mentee, you identify those weights. What are the weights? Judgment by the family, social acceptance, insecurity, wrong behavior, bullying, whatever. And then what are the drivers? What is the hot air that keeps you flying? That would allow you to fly higher? My emotional intelligence, my capabilities, my skills, my passion, whatever. So if you visualize, if you help your mentee visualize that exercise with all the weights that needs to throw from the sky, and then turn on the hot air, it's easier for the mentee to focus on what you guys need to work on. So that's one of the ways to assess needs. Asking questions, again, is one of the instruments you have. Or imagine, for example, a ladder, stairs. What do you want to reach? What's in between? You deconstruct the objective. You want to buy a house, okay. In order to buy a house, that's your ultimate goal, you need to find a job, earn money, set money aside, get a mortgage, find a house that you like, see if it's affordable according to your budget, blah, 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 blah. It's all steps. That's assessing needs. Assessing needs are respond to the broader objective. How I changed country, for example. Many of you live in another country different from the country of origin. So that alone is an experience, because you needed to adapt to a new environment, to a new language, to a new culture, meet new people. So if you want to talk to your mentee about resilience, you might want to mention this example. Or living with two cultures. So how would you build your story based on the structure that we saw yesterday to show that, you know, it's possible to live with a flexible mind? Because you've always lived with two cultures at the same time. Okay? So, storytelling. We're all made of stories. If you read autobiographies, if you read tales, if you read fiction, non-fiction, even essays have a beginning and have an end. But storytelling is very important to transform your experiences into something that you can sell, you can share with other people based on the purpose. And the same situation can transform into multiple stories. You can use, for example, as a story of a personal growth, for example, the fact that you changed the country, you can use it as an example of resilience, you can use it as an example of personal growth. Many tales are based on travels. Gulliver's Travel, the World's Tour in 80 Days, for example. Many many tales are based on that. You can use it to experience truth or to grow personally. So one same story for many reasons. And this takes exercise. This takes the right words. And you know, you also need to take your time to count it, because it's not that you can tell the story that lasts 30 minutes, because then the mentee says, okay, yeah, but are we talking about me or about you?
Yeah.
Be short, be quick, don't forget the main details. It's like an exam. An exam, when I was at university, I would expect the right answer, yes or no, and then all the explanation. Not all the explanation, and then you're not capable of giving me the right answer. Okay, so to the point, but without overseeing the details, the essential details that you want to say in that story. So it's an exercise over and over and over. And the more you exercise, the better the story becomes, because it's more effective, it's shorter. Try to record it even. Again, try to use your creativity. Try to be as creative as possible. Using a song, using a painting, using a poem, a poem in rhymes. That's even fun. In your own dialect. I mean, storytelling is such there are university courses on storytelling alone. So we really have a lot of fantasy and creativity. That's a very nice quality of a good mentor. The ability to tell a story. Very fascinating. So, Maggie, ability to assess needs.
Yes, the abilities to assess needs, it's related, especially in the mentoring. It's what she already described as to find out what the needs are.
No, sorry. So attitude for advising. Sorry, attitude for advising. Yeah, sorry.
I'll just also add up on the needs before
okay,
that.
Okay.
And I would also like to stress again that this one is related. Sorry. This one, how do I remove it? This one is, sorry. So this one is also, you should always keep in mind that those are related. So ability to assess need will be connected, I even wrote it twice, ignore. Will be connected to administrative skills. Why? Because sometimes assessing needs might come like through a form to a list that you need to fill, an assessment sheet that you might need to focus on. And storytelling is directly related to your pedagogical skills. Why? Because the pedagogical skills will give you the knowledge of how to choose the story. Because in pedagogy there is a specific part of the pedagogical skills on how to choose and write stories.
Okay, great. So attitude for advising, here this is a hot word. What does advising mean in this case? Like the good advice.
Presenting the options. Like shooting the center.
Having the person come up with the option.
With the options.
Make him decide who should decide.
Okay. So attitude, not ability. Attitude for advising. Okay, give me more viewpoints. I'm an advisor. What does an advisor do? He advises based on, he gives options. He supports the person, the mentee, to have options. Okay, so this is related to the bottlenecks, for example. I'm stuck, okay, give me options. Advise me on what to do. And this is why, for example, the brainstorming exercises are so important, because you bring so much on the table that once you have to select, you normally find some very, very good ideas to put into place. And this is why collaboration here is key. This is why the mentor is not alone. Because you as mentor can be advised by somebody else, but at the same time, you can advise the mentee. not a prescriptive and directed advice, but you can say, this is my story. In that particular situation, I did this and this and that. And for me, it was fine. And I might have a viewpoint that is completely different to my usual pattern that I decide to use. Okay? So the attitude is to be able to put your experience at the service of. Put your stories at the service of. You put yourself at the service of the mentee. Be their mentor in this way. This is very useful. Okay.
We'll continue that discussion.
So yeah, know the career paths of a professional area, just because this is linked to networking. Then, very quickly,
yes, coaching skills, I just want to underline it because they're really close with the mentoring, as Alessandra was explaining. But the coaching skills include one specific aspect, and this is the firm belief that the person in front of you is capable of finding the solution. So the firm belief in yourself that you are just supporting the mentee, not helping them. So the mentee has all the possibilities to find the solution. And if you have that firm belief, then you will transmit it to the mentee to find those solutions. And the other thing which is very helpful if you keep as a coaching skill is the idea that behind every action there's a good intent, always. Even if it seems like a very bad action, there is somewhere a good intent. You just don't see it maybe in the moment. As in terms of pedagogical skills, the mentor here requires a diverse set of skills. As we saw today in the pedagogical skills, and you have the chance to learn more in details in the modules that you are going to read through. Pedagogical skills include the skills to assess educational needs. They include the skills to how to choose, to diversify that program, so how to create an individual learning plan for your mentee, how to use gamification if maybe they lack the motivation, so they need this push, how to use those instruments. So the pedagogical skills include those skills that will support your work in the ability to enhance the ability to work of your own mentee and to transmit the knowledge that you like. In the administrative and organizational skills that were identified, actually related more of the practical aspects of the work in between the mentor and the mentee. They include things like time management, setting the calendar because it's not always obvious. They include skills like maybe filling in documentation, because in some countries those relationships need to be documented officially in some of the cases. So how to fill this documentation? How do you store it? All those information. A little bit in this competence, you also have a little bit of legal background. Can you advise if you don't know the laws? No. Why? Because maybe your advice will lead the wrong way. So it also includes a bit of legal knowledge. So you see the idea. So it's just a general definition. And the one that is added to the 31 skills already mentioned is the psychosocial support skills. Yesterday we were discussing that mentors are not psychologists, but however, they themselves need basic skills of social and psychological support. Not like being the psychologist, but for example, knowing how to co-regulate. Can I regulate my emotions? So when my mentee becomes emotional, I can co-regulate my mentee so that we can stay in focus and continue the session. So those are basic things like this. Can I assess the emotional state of my mentee? This is something that touches a broader knowledge rather than just trusting my intuition. Yes, trust your intuition. It's very important to trust intuition. But if you have a general idea and some extra competencies in here, this will support you. How do I, especially when working with disadvantaged need, how can I support a person coming from this specific social group? Are there already mechanisms that are working? Are there good practices that have already been identified that will support those efforts that I can reuse? Because as Alessandra told you, you just gain skills from everything and you just find a way to adapt it. So